From a police perspective, enough's enough. Horrifying images of an officer thrown down a set of stairs in the Upper Hunter at the hands of an ice addict.
That injury is horrific, and I'm sure anyone that sees that feels the pain that that young man has gone through.
Talking to the Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter through the dangers of the job, the Police Association explains a typical night on the beat.
These fellows, they're out here in the suburbs of Cessnock by themselves. Two young police officers turn up to a house, and there's a person that's raging, literally raging.
The association is calling for an additional 61 Hunter police officers to manage the growing issue, a problem they say stretches to the far reaches of the valley.
We're stretched as it is, and we're only becoming more and more stretched daily beyond our capacity. It's time to put boots on the ground and numbers into dealing with this problem.
We're asking for community support. We're asking for people to go to the Police Association website and sign the petition that we're going to send to the Police Minister.
In Cessnock today, to reinforce the state government's commitment to tackling outlaw bikie gangs, Scott McDonald says the government's listening.
$13.5 million for the new courthouse coming here over the next couple of years. It is an old courthouse, it is badly needed. Police were telling me to do their work, including things like Raptor, they need the good resources and good infrastructure as well as boots on the ground.
But for the thin blue line, actions speak volumes. Stephen Mount, NBN News.
And here it is. A major milestone on Saturday evening as the first sleek red light rail tram, soon to be gliding through the Newcastle CBD, was unloaded at the docks.
We're very excited that the first one's here.
Not long to wait now before the remaining 5 trams come off the production line in Spain.
They'll progressively come now over the following 3 months. It was more important to get the first one here and start that commissioning process.
And it's prompted Revitalising Newcastle to begin a campaign bringing locals up to speed, making sure they're aware there's a tram there.
We've been out talking to school children. We're going to run a few more little simulations in the city.
The Urbos 100 weighs about 45 tonnes, moves at 40 kilometres an hour, and it's quiet.
They're like electric cars, you can't hear them coming, so we need to make sure people are aware, and especially those people that love to wander around with their headphones on. I just encourage people to keep their wits about them and always be thinking.
The tram will undergo a range of tests to make sure it's up to the task when it takes to the tracks in October. Meanwhile, navigating the CBD is about to get a whole lot easier.
The next 6 weeks should see a lot more barriers down and traffic moving freely across the city.
Jacinta Lee, NBN News.
First among equals. New South Wales Governor David Hurley joining the Branxton and Greta communities as patron of a unique project, linking the small Hunter towns through wartime history.
These 2 villages lost 62 men in the First World War. That was significant, and this connection now, they've been connected by the road and the rail for many, many years now. They'll be connected by remembrance.
His Excellency is leading the fundraising drive for the Branxton Greta Memorial Cycleway, a 4.5 kilometre shrine linking war memorials dedicated to fallen servicemen.
I'm a soldier and spent nearly all my adult life as one, so I understand sacrifice, I understand service.
And it's that understanding that brought him here today to build a genuine connection. Before departing to visit the Greta Memorial to pay his respects. The significance of the Greta Memorial visit is how it came into existence. Unlike many honour rolls in alphabetical order, this one was built during the Great War, and names were added as the news trickled home that soldiers had fallen in battle.
What they normally do is they wait until the conflict's over and then they get a list of names, and they usually do them alphabetical.
Construction of the cycleway is due to begin in November, 100 years to the day since the end of World War I.
We've had a undertaking from Cessnock Council that they'd be shovel ready to turn soil on the 11th of the 11th 2018 to mark the anniversary of the armistice.
Stephen Mount, NBN News.
Ben Batterham's committal hearing resumed with the same focus as when it began. Just what caused the death of Ricky Slater-Dixon, the man he's accused of murdering. According to clinical toxicologist Associate Professor Naren Gunja, autopsy results found Slater-Dixon had swelling of the brain, bruising of the soft tissue muscles in his neck, and had a concentration of alcohol in his system, along with 0.71 milligrams of methamphetamine and 0.05 milligrams of amphetamine. Under questioning by Acting Crown Prosecutor Paul Rosser QC, Professor Gunja told the court while the methamphetamine may have led to poor judgment, that Mr Slater-Dixon may have been delirious or confused, I believe that he was asphyxiated or strangled. Batterham is accused of murdering the 34-year-old in March 2016 after finding him inside his Newcastle home, chasing him down and placing his arm over his throat. However, pharmacologist McDonald Christie labelled the level of methamphetamine found in Mr Slater-Dixon's system as high and argued it's possible that level alone could have led to cardiac arrest. But he also found the methamphetamine could have caused the cardiac arrest in combination with other factors. The hearing will resume tomorrow with more medical evidence. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
A flower for someone special, a parent, a child, a sibling, a friend, someone dear who's taken their own life. As the sun rose over the city, Newcastle walked to remember them.
These beautiful flowers, this represents somebody who's been affected by suicide in one way or another. So we've invited people to gather a flower this morning, hold it as they've walked, remember the person that they're thinking of.
8 Australians take their life every day, a statistic that's touched the many who walked from Dixon Park to Merriweather Beach, a garden of memory and hope created by them at the finish.
Just the impact that suicide's had on our local community. One of our colleagues lost his son a couple of weeks ago.
6 years ago, I lost my sister to suicide, and I just want to start raising awareness. It feels so good to come out and be with other people that are in the same boat as well. So
yeah, it was a good morning. For those struggling, Lifeline is the nation's listening ear.
If we can just take the time to sit with people, to meet them when they need it the most, then perhaps we can do something about it.
Today, also a reminder to spread kindness.
We lost our son about 2 months ago. Age 14, took his own life. Talk.
He just didn't want to be here. Started with bullying and just got very depressed and anxious, and ended up couldn't go to school, and then in July this year he took his own life.
Get the word out there about bullying and
not to
mental
be scared
health.
about talking mental health.
This morning, a step in the right direction. Georgia Marr, NBN News.
She's back in a familiar setting, but this is no ordinary broadcast.
My name's Jill Emberson. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in early 2016. I know this disease is going to kill me well before I'm ready to die. But for now, I'm still living. I'm still Jill.
Absent from the ABC radio airwaves now for more than 2 years, Jill Emberson has returned for a deeply personal project.
Even though I look well and feel well, I'm not well. But I'm still Jill. And that's what I called my podcast. How good's that?
Jill's been documenting her brutal journey with ovarian cancer, which began suddenly with sharp pain in her pelvis.
Soon after that, it was revealed that that pain was the cancer cells growing around my ovaries. And that was stage 3 advanced ovarian cancer. It was absolutely devastating. Unfortunately, 80% of women who get ovarian cancer are diagnosed at that very late stage.
She's since endured invasive surgeries and exhausting rounds of chemotherapy, but the disease came back, and in September last year it spread to her brain. Her partner Ken, a GP, called the ambulance.
When I woke up from the surgery, I looked at Ken and I went, "Man, you saved my life. Do you want to marry me?" And at first he said, "I'm sorry, but no. As a doctor, I can't say yes to you. You're under the influence of drugs, so I'll have to wait till you get a bit better and we'll see if this is a genuine offer."
It was, and now they are. From dance lessons to dress shopping. It's a joyous time, surrounded by family. Jill's daughter Malia is helping her prepare and will give her away.
I haven't been a big fan of weddings and marriages, but now that I'm deep into it, I kind of wonder why I didn't do it before.
Life is full as Jill moves on from diagnosis while pushing for greater awareness and funding for ovarian cancer research. She's appeared at the National Press Club and in an international campaign.
We really need a breakthrough. The survival rate is only 44% after 5 years. For breast cancer, it's now over 90%, and that's purely because money has been invested, research has got results. We need that for our reproductive bits, for our girly bits.
Jill wants women to be aware of the often mysterious symptoms, which can include bloating, pain or changes in bowel habits, as she continues palliative treatment, always hopeful of a breakthrough.
In the big picture, my prognosis is for like 2 to 3 years, but I'm hoping it will be more than that.
Jill Emberson still has so much to do. Her podcast for the ABC goes live next month, and there's her wedding, of course, this weekend. She's still Jill.
I hope that it raises awareness, and I hope that it sits in the heart of people as an ordinary Australian woman's life story, because that's what it is at the end of the day.
It's a trip Lauren Parker wasn't sure she'd be taking.
The surgeon said if I waited another 4 weeks, I would have become a quad.
That surgeon performed spinal surgery on Lauren just 5 weeks ago when she started losing feeling in her arm and waist.
It came back that I had a cyst at my injury level, which filled with fluid, and the fluid got inside my spinal cord and travelled up to my neck, causing those symptoms.
2 days after the frightening discovery, she was enduring a 7.5-hour surgery to remove the cyst and drain the fluid.
It's still draining now, but I still don't have my feeling down my right arm. It's just the surface, and I still don't have my feeling on my chest. I've got weakness in my hand and my arm as well, so it impacts on my training a little bit as well, but I just hope that, it'll come back over time.
The 29-year-old admits she's not at her best.
I haven't written myself off. I could, go really well.
But what we know about Lauren Parker is she's beaten the odds before. All this just over a year after a training crash that left her paralysed from the waist down. Now she's a Commonwealth Games bronze medal winning para-triathlete about to compete in the World Series Grand Final on the Gold Coast.
These things happen, and you just got to overcome another obstacle and just go into it without any expectations.
Kate Haberfield, NBN News.
I just feel, both for myself as a coach and for the club that, after 4 years, it's probably time for a change, and it's time for me to look at other opportunities that I think I'm going to learn at again, and that's certainly where I see Newcastle. And I think it's a club on the up as well, and obviously a place that's probably not too dissimilar to Townsville in terms of living. So I've got a family that I need to relocate as well, and that's certainly factored into that.
Pointing started the season with aspirations of breaking into the top 5 for the first time. But her campaign hasn't gone according to plan.
Had heaps of bad luck, had some engine dramas, and just been in the wrong place at the wrong time too many times. We've got really good pace. We've been quicker than we ever have been. We are just struggling to put it all together this year.
She's still hoping to reach the top 10 with 2 rounds remaining in the Aussie cars, but with the series not returning to Newcastle in 2018, Pointing's team has decided to offer her a ride in a different car.
We definitely wanted to race something at Newcastle, and we were tossing up between the Super Ute or the 86, and Western Sydney Motorsport already has 2 guys running the Super Ute, and they know all the ins and outs, and it just seemed like the best way to go.
If everything goes to plan, Pointing will warm up for Newcastle by racing a Super Ute at Bathurst.
We're hoping to get some testing in before Bathurst, and I've been racing a Pulsar on the side to get used to the H-pattern gearbox and having to use a clutch and stuff, which we don't have to with the sequential shift in the Aussie car.
Expanding rapidly, Cessnock Prison will soon be home to another 240 inmates.
It's a massive boon for local employment and the economy, both in terms of those jobs involved in construction and design, but also ongoing full-time jobs.
Due open by 2020, the latest addition will complement a new maximum security wing also being built.
We have experts that are involved in this process, both custodial as well as our building experts, to make sure that we have a seamless transition. It doesn't matter where you go, there is always a need for prisons.
More prisoners, of course, means more traffic. A proposed road upgrade, however, has got neighbours concerned.
It was only 2 weeks ago that we've actually seen, after 2 years, some proposed routes going through.
Those routes link up with Curlew Street. Residents say they'd prefer a longer road further away from homes.
Please consider running down through the land that you already own, that is not going to go past a single residence.
It's not about corrections putting their preferred option on the table. It's about corrections talking to the community about the community's preferred option.
We've been fully engaged with the community during the process and will continue to be so.
Sam Burbury, NBN News.
Sam was just 14 when she had her first child, Harry. Then along came twins Ryan and William, and before she knew it, Sam had 3 children at the age of 16. She was bouncing between homes, couch surfing, when her children were placed into foster care, with the long-term goal that one day they would be a family again.
And then they started to tell us, you know what, I like it when I'm with mum. I don't want to keep going back to my foster home. I want to stay with my mum.
It's called restorative foster care, providing short-term nurturing with the aim of bringing families back into one unit. Catholic Care is looking for more households which can provide this kind of support.
Children and young people really belong with their birth family, where child protection issues can be mitigated and we can build the strengths in a birth family and build parenting capacity, then children should go home.
Providing both parents and carers with coaching to have unity and stability for the children. Sam is sharing her story to help break down barriers surrounding foster care.
They come from all walks of life and they just need a chance.
If we can make sure that they are safe and they are well cared for and they are loved, then children should be at home. Communities function better when families stay together.
For more information and to hear Sam's full story, visit the Catholic Care website. Samantha Long, NBN News.
I think if we could get around about 20 to 30 new carers within the region, that would help us support children and young people at the end of the day better.
Basically, we've got a Year 8 and a Year 9 class, and we came up with different ideas based on what Katara High meant to them.
At 9:30 this morning, a scene of chaos. An elderly couple was travelling along Main Road at Toukley when their ute veered onto the wrong side of the road. The vehicle smashed through a fence at speed, hitting 2 parked cars along the way, coming to rest under a front veranda of this house. The impact forced the structure to collapse, trapping the couple in their mid-70s for 45 minutes. Emergency services were called in to free them.
2 elderly patients have been transported in a serious but stable condition to John Hunter Hospital.
The cause of the crash is being investigated, but it's believed the driver may have suffered a medical episode.
There are reports that the driver wasn't responding for quite a distance before the accident.
One person was inside the home at the time, but thankfully wasn't hurt. Sky Hull, NBN News.
He's got the skills and the smile to match.
My name is Jair Eduardo, but everybody can say Jair.
The 30-year-old knows what's expected of Brazilian footballers when they sign abroad.
We have to be score every season, so here cannot be different.
Score goals he can. Jair netted 46 in 110 appearances in the notoriously tough Korean League.
If he's come through that with flying colours, which he has, then he'll be a major asset to us. We can't carry someone that doesn't do the graft. We're a hard-working blue-collar team, and everyone that joins us has got to be able to do a job both defensively to recover the ball and in attack. And he's one of these players that works extremely hard.
Jair admits Ernie Merrick's emphasis on attacking football drew him to Newcastle.
Hopefully that his style will help me also, because I am an attacker. I love to find the goals.
The striker hasn't played for 2 months following an unhappy stint in China where he failed to hit the target, but with his young family in tow, he's confident he's made the right move.
And the last experience in China, my family stayed in Brazil. I was alone. It was so difficult for me, but here they come and arrive with me, and I am so happy.
Jair is the biggest signing so far this pre-season for the A-League Grand Finalists, but it's no secret Merrick is on the hunt for 2 more attacking players.
It's very important that we score goals this year if we're going to achieve anything.
Kate Haberfield, NBN News.
I thought it was the best thing to come back to Melbourne. Melbourne City's a fantastic club. You know, they're an ambitious club. They'll be fighting for the league this year, and it's something that I wanted to be a part of.
There's more than just education filling the classroom at Eleebana Public.
The school's latest production, giving students the chance to showcase their creative side.
I feel like it's really good because when you're with your friends you can just kind of be yourself.
The opportunity to play characters from the famous Wizard of Oz is a unique experience. Everyone has their own way of preparing for the opening night.
I do homework in the morning and then after I get back from school I practice my lines.
Students also picking up plenty of tips and tricks along the way.
You have to be very exaggerated with everything you do.
The thrill of the big stage is rubbing off on teachers too.
Seeing those students who maybe thought that singing and dancing's not for them get up on that stage and put on a show of this scale and with that much hard work behind it really makes me want to come to work every day.
This is Brooke Stevenson.
And this is Raphael Knott.
Reporting to you
for NBN News Junior Journos.
A delicate operation and a milestone for Newcastle. Lowering the first light rail vehicle onto Hunter Street tracks, almost 70 years since the city's first network came to an end.
The trams are the target for much adverse criticism and, as an experiment, are being replaced entirely by buses on selected routes.
Weighing in at 45 tonnes, the process took a little longer this time round.
It was 12 months ago to the day that we started in Hunter Street here, starting that construction process. I'm very pleased to say that we've remained on track that whole time.
So too did the midnight operation, carried out on the street's straightest stretch.
We needed to do it in this location because this is where we had the right amount of straight track for that to occur.
Commissioning is next on the agenda and opening access to CBD traffic.
95% of the track work is complete, and now it's more concentrating on getting the footpaths done and the little bit of tidy up around the roadworks so that we can get those barriers down and get everyone flowing through the city again.
5 more trams are expected to arrive from Spain by the end of the year. Lauren Kemp, NBN News.
Convinced our future is up above, our politicians today began laying the groundwork. The state government contributing more than $11 million toward constructing Astra Aerolab, a next-generation defence and aviation precinct near Newcastle Airport.
We want to build diversity in this region, in its economy. To do that, you've got to start attracting new industries and new businesses.
Deputy Premier John Barilaro says establishing the world-class hub should create more than 5,000 aerospace jobs and pump more than $240 million into our economy.
What we're now doing is turbocharging this region beyond our wildest dreams.
Working next door to our incoming F-35 fighter jet contingent, an obvious draw card.
These people can choose between Singapore, Seattle, Europe, so they're making global decisions, and we've got a secret weapon, and it's called the Hunter.
Even before work on Stage 1 commences, airport management says it can foresee demand outstripping supply.
There's call for some training facilities beyond this site, I think sort of vocational training, perhaps university, that matches the skill base needed for this industry.
Everyone involved says the project proves the area has a future, despite concerns about contamination.
You can still use this land, you can commercialise this land, you can uplift the values and you can attract investment.
We're raring to go, and we're going to crack on and do this.
Sam Burbury, NBN News.
They know the community, they know our city, and we've had a very successful partnership with Council previously.
Work will commence early in 2019, looking for completion through 2022.
Reaching new heights, they're pushing the limits of the human body. Novocastrian Todd Kilby has taken international strides in acrobatics. After years performing abroad, this weekend will be the first time in a decade he takes to the stage in his hometown.
I'm really excited. As I said, I haven't been back here in Newcastle to perform for, it's over a decade, it's probably 11 years now, with a show that I'm really proud of and obviously nervous.
Todd is known for his ability to combine circus, dance and martial arts in his movements.
There's a lot of acrobatics in the show. So for me to keep up with these really incredibly talented, fit younger ones is definitely a fun challenge for me.
The show will feature 9 other acrobats from across the globe, weaving individual expression into one. But the performance's meaning runs deeper than just the physical. It's all about strength and weakness in the human condition.
Oh, look, I think they'll love it. Really, it's raw, it's energetic, it's like fleshy, you can grab it, and it's fun.
Humans will show this weekend at the Civic Theatre. Lauren Kemp, NBN News.
A legal battle 2.5 years in the making, which today ended exactly where it began. Benjamin Batterham set to stand trial over the murder of Ricky Slater-Dixon. Immediately following this afternoon's decision, Batterham addressed the magistrate, telling him, "I regret he has died and I have to live with that forever." Batterham is accused of murdering Mr. Slater-Dixon in March 2016 by chasing him down, then punching and choking him after finding the 34-year-old inside his home at Hamilton in March 2016. But Batterham told the court, "I never intended to cause Mr. Slater any serious harm, and that I admit I was angry, that I hit him, but I was only trying to keep him from getting away." During a 4-day hearing in Newcastle Local Court, Magistrate Price found although Batterham had every right to pursue and restrain Mr. Slater-Dixon, he escalated the situation from a reasonable response to an angry, violent situation where he wanted to exact some form of punishment and retribution. Although Batterham's barrister, Winston Terracini SC, argued Mr. Slater-Dixon's drug use, along with other health factors, was to blame for his death, the court ruled the violent conduct of the accused was at least a significant cause in the death of the deceased. Today's outcome was met with this response from the victim's family.
Very happy.
Very happy.
Live now to reporter Tyson Cottrell, who's been following the case. And Tyson, where to from here?
Paul, a date for Badaham's trial will now be set. That will be done in November when the matter is mentioned in Sydney Supreme Court. But it's understood that any possible trial is unlikely for several months and possibly could be as late as the middle of next year. In the meantime, though, Badaham remains on bail. Tash?
Thank you. Tyson Cottrell reporting there.
Paul, a date for Badaham's trial will now be set. That will be done in November when the matter is mentioned in Sydney Supreme Court. But it's understood that any possible trial is unlikely for several months and possibly could be as late as the middle of next year. In the meantime, though, Badaham remains on bail. Tash?
I'm pretty nervous for this. I don't usually get nervous, but as Jono touched on, it's like pretty huge. So yeah, I didn't expect this at all.
It's as close as Australia gets to a second-tier national competition. The NPL finals pit the champions of the 8 strongest federations from around the country against each other in a knockout format. Edgeworth won the Northern New South Wales competition by 11 points, earning a trip to Brisbane to take on Lions FC.
Look, this is our 4th year in this competition, so we know what it's about. We know it's a good trip and we know it's going to be difficult, so the guys will just have to raise the level again. We had training last night and to be fair, after everyone being so down, it was pretty good training actually, so I think the guys are up for it.
The Eagles lost the local decider 3-0 to Broadmeadow on Saturday.
Full credit to Broadmeadow, they played really well. We just didn't get our groove in on the game. We've worked hard all year and just one of those nights where it didn't really click and they didn't let us play, and full credit to them on the night, they were the better team.
Former A-League Golden Boot winner Daniel McBreen made a late cameo in that game. At 41, he's not sure whether he'll play for the Eagles again next year.
If they want me and we decide family-wise and work-wise it's still a viable option, then yeah, look, I want to play as long as I can. I enjoy being around the football guys.
He hasn't had the best luck in the Enduro Cup during the past 2 seasons. But Russell is hoping 2018 will be a different story, driving alongside Andre Heimgartner for Nissan Motorsport.
They just think about everything for me and I literally just get in and drive, which it takes all that back pressure off me and having to think about all this other stuff. I can just do my job as a driver.
His deal includes races at Sandown, Bathurst and the Gold Coast, but unfortunately Russell wasn't awarded a wildcard to drive at this year's Newcastle 500. The 27-year-old is now hoping to feature in the Super Utes or Dunlop series on his home track, but making a deal could prove difficult.
It's hard to find sponsorship for that kind of money when it's probably half the exposure as the main series. So, you know, that's a tough one. We don't know what yet, but hopefully we'll find something.
Russell knows a strong showing with Nissan is vital to his future prospects.
It's probably the best opportunity so far of my career to be with this team, and I'm hoping if I do a good job, you know, they or someone asks me back next year and we just keep that ball rolling.
punching the tide. It's high water at Pelican and Ford Idle just doesn't cut it. As the shifting channel edges closer to the shoreline, it's eroding the Pelican foreshore at a rate of knots.
What we're finding is that the erosion and the currents in the channel are far worse than what was first thought. We lost 2 metres of the foreshore down here in the last month.
It's impacted hardest on recreational boaties. 3.5 years since the 2015 April storms reduced the old ramp to rubble, Council is setting a new course at the 11th hour.
Our engineers and consultants have continued their studies and are now proposing a different design which is more adaptable to the current forces in the channel.
Details are sketchy, but the upgrade will see a 25-metre ramp installed with pontoon-style loading docks for a December launch.
It's most important that we have this up and running for the Christmas and the summer season for them.
But at a cost of $1 million, locals say there's other priorities.
It'd be great to have the boat ramp, and I'm all for it, but at the same time I think we need to fix this major problem first.
Which will be a major talking point at a consultation day next month.
We want the community to be involved in that design, and also we're going to be out here on the 6th of October with a pop-up stall so we can talk to the community and let them know exactly what we're doing, where we're up to.
Stephen Mount, NBN News.
Construction already complete, volunteers today began transforming the Build for a Cure house into a family home.
It's exhausting, but it's exciting all at the same time.
Stylists were flat out assembling furniture and unpacking appliances, everything donated. Each piece was carefully chosen to create a warm, inviting space.
We've used a lot of beautiful raw materials. It's quite organic. The greys and the soft timbers are beautiful, the tan leathers.
Very exciting to see the house coming together in its final stages here today.
The Whirlwind project opens for inspection on Sunday. Network personality Scott Cam to show prospective buyers through before it goes under the hammer next month. Every dollar going toward curing childhood cancer.
We really need a really good price for this house to make sure that it gets in the hands of the right people. It's going to be a fantastic and beautiful house, and I hope the community can see that too.
Sam Burbury, NBN News. Come November, big-name board riders will once again converge on Berube. Port Stephens hosting both men's and women's QS events. The women's event, in particular, appears a crowd pleaser, with 6,000 ranking points up for grabs.
Pretty much half the women's world tour locked in to surf and compete for their spot. This is actually the last qualifying series event in the whole globe for them to qualify for next year.
Something organisers know and are keen to share.
We're making sure we give some wild cards and get the local community and board riders involved.
The travel costs can be really, really tough, so it's good to have it at home.
Port Stephens Council says the competitions provide nearby businesses a welcome boost.
This event will support our local accommodation, our local retail businesses, our hotels and motels.
Surfing New South Wales hopes to keep coming back.
It's definitely our goal to keep it here for the future for sure.
The event windows run from November 8 to 13. Sam Burbury, NBN News.
It's gym time at St Philip's Christian College, and no one wants to ditch this class. The school has overhauled its sport and PE programs, harnessing the power of music to get students moving.
Yeah, I like it because it gets everyone pumped.
It motivates me because before I didn't like running without the music.
The change was prompted by increasing childhood obesity levels and inactivity.
I thought I would do something about that and change up the way that we deliver PE in the school, because asking students to go for a 10-minute run just isn't cutting it anymore.
In an Australian first, the school's installed a high-tech music system in its new $7 million gymnasium complex, allowing students to be DJs, selecting their favourite songs.
Usually we have this supplied into bars and restaurants and fitness centres in the general public, but to see it in this application in a school environment, it's amazing.
The goal was to get kids off of phones, off of computers, and get them active, rather than removing technology from the situation, using that, harnessing that.
The system filters out any inappropriate material, and students are lining up for lessons.
The energy in the school at the moment, the change in student culture has just been unbelievable.
In any group of 100 people, you're going to have some that do have some issues. Ask the question, are you okay?
Every conversation can change a life.
When humans meet humpbacks. Forget the one that got away, this is the one that hung around. And he's curious too. Tons of majestic mammal taking in the scenery of a sightseer on a sea-doo. Shane Phillip caught it all, his voice filled with awe of its sheer size and grace. A once-in-a-lifetime encounter, and a show they'll never forget. Forever captured on camera. This one's going straight to the pool room. Stephen Mount, NBN News.
I haven't had the best preparation, but I'm really going into the race being positive and do the best I can. My plan is to go as hard as I can and swim and bike, and then hold on for the run, the racing chair.
The most challenging thing about the race is going to be the quality of field for sure. Definitely a star-studded field that have come here, the 55, 60 of the best athletes around the world. If I could get myself back inside that top 10 consistently like I have been in the past, I think that would be something that I could finish the year with quite pleased with.
Smith's stables, vehicle and residence were raided by stewards on Tuesday after 2 of his horses returned irregular samples. A number of substances were seized, as were his phone and laptop. The trainer is now suspended, awaiting a hearing.
Look, it's a tough time for him. You know, it's a big change, but it's still all pending. So I wish him the best.
Racing New South Wales recommended his Group 1 winning runners Eldorado Dreaming and In Her Time be moved to a rival trainer to allow them to continue their programs. Chris Lees was chosen by the owners of both horses.
They've literally moved 20 metres up the road, so hopefully just to keep them in the environment that they're accustomed to, and from our point of view, try and have them going as good as Ben had them going.
Eldorado Dreaming will race at Randwick on Saturday. In Her Time will resume at a trial on Wednesday. The Everest hopeful will also take part in an exhibition gallop tomorrow as part of the Newcastle Jockey Club's Gold Cup meeting.
I think it's the best collective group of races they've had here that I can remember.
Lees has several runners entered in 3 of the 4 Group 3 races, including 2 in the $160,000 Cameron Handicap.
Prized Icon's a horse who's had 2 runs back, and I think he's in really good order. Drawn well, he'll certainly get his chance. Sense of Occasion, a horse who can produce fresh, but he's been off a long time. I just think he may need the run, but I think he's in for a good preparation.
Norths and Gosford have contested the last 3 deciders in the Premier Division, with the Central Coast Club winning in 2015 and 2017. The visitors will start as favourites again on Sunday, having won the major semi 5-0.
We thought it would be a bit of a closer match, but we played really well. So yeah, hopefully we can carry that through to the final.
2 weekends ago in the semi-final was a bit disappointing, going down the coast and getting a hammering down there, but coming back this weekend, playing up here is a different story to play down there.
Rory Walker believes Norths are peaking at the right time.
We started the season off pretty well, but towards the end we started to go downhill a bit, but from there we've built back up and listened to the coach a fair bit, and we're back on track.
The rivalry between the sides has intensified in the past few years. The fallout from round 19 saw Gosford lose Riley Carr for the decider, while Norths will be missing defender Brad Binns and experienced keeper Sean O'Brien. Eamon Smith takes his place in goals.
I feel like he can fill that position pretty well, so we're pretty confident in him, so played well on the weekend.
The game starts at Broadmeadow at 2:30 on Sunday.